Hey everybody, I'm Lee, and welcome to Grimmleighs Fiends. This is a channel that talks about monsters, mythology, and magic, but for the last 3 weeks and change, we've been all about the Inktober. Inktober is an annual art challenge where people are given a list of prompts, and then they will use those prompts to come up with artwork. And I have added a few things to the list of prompts for myself that will further challenge me to not just generate the easiest thing in the world. It's actually challenging me to come up with something new each and every day. So those two challenges are that the video that I'm shooting to accompany each day's entry has to be less than 20 minutes. And then the other factor of that is that I need to make each entry monstrous, because that's what we do here. We're all about the monsters, mythology, and magic. The world would be a much less awesome place if we didn't have those things, and so that's what I like to focus on. Today's prompt for day 24 is extinct, so we're going to go ahead and draw something extinct and monstrous, and perhaps reanimated, because that's part of the fun. Not like a lot of the people that are watching this video. I was already an adult when Jurassic Park came out, so the dinosaurs that I grew up being fascinated with, of course your T-Rexes and stuff like that, just like everybody else, but I didn't have this awesome movie with state-of-the-art special effects showing me these really cool dinosaurs. I had the stop-motion monster movies of the 50s and 60s with those Ray Harryhausen special effects, and that's what all of my monsters came from. Not my monsters, but my dinosaurs, for sure. So, of course, everything I end up drawing involving dinosaurs since then, it has kind of a Harryhausian feeling to it, because that's just what I knew. That's just what I grew up with. Question with skeletal creatures all the time is to eyeball or not to eyeball the monster. To draw a lot of things for D&D, you'd put in your skeleton legions, and I always found that an eyeball always added something cool to it. And it also makes it less than your run-of-the-mill skeleton, right? This thing's extinct, but it's reanimated, and it's coming for our pretzels. That make any sense to anybody? Also, by leaving that eyeball in there, that makes my dinosaur more of a monster and not just the skeleton of a monster. Now, a real skeleton, this snout here would have probably been more of long, like a drafted slit in the snout. The way I drew this is actually more fleshy than bony, and that is more of a personal choice on my behalf. I want to play with the texture a little bit more than I would have been allowed to otherwise. That's the fun of drawing. You can make all these decisions yourself about what it is that you're drawing and how it's going to look. There's the other major influencer that I had on how I looked at dinosaurs and dinosaur bones was Bill Watterson, the guy that drew Calvin and Hobbes, because I bet there's not enough fingers on your hands, both hands combined, to count the total number of T-Rex skeletons that ended up in a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon or comic. They were always there. And I just loved the way he did his brushwork. And there was a real, just beautiful work. You go back and look at it, there's an elegance to its simplicity that I don't think a lot of cartoonists, especially funny page cartoonists, really shared, right? He used brush for almost all of his illustration, and his lines were so beautifully controlled, considering the brush is not the most it's notoriously uncontrollable, right? Your brush is constantly at war with you to do what it wants to do and not what you want to do. So you're constantly struggling with that brush to make it do what you want it to do. And Watterson that didn't seem to be the case with him. He seemed to be immune to the brush's constant pull and desire to be chaotic and bring chaos to your piece. So yeah, anytime I draw skeletons or creatures like this, there's a little Bill Watterson in there. When you go through your list of influences and inspirations, and you're like, well, I've got this Bill Watterson from Calvin and Hobbes, I've got Bernie Wrightson from Swamp Thing, and a handful of other people, your mom included, and then you're like, okay, is there any particular reason why I draw the way I do? I really didn't have a choice. It was my influences. They determined that this would be the illustrator that I ended up being. I asked this question in a previous video, but I'll ask it again. I'll be asking it in the next few videos. With Inktober coming to a close here in just about a week, I am impressed with the realization that I've really actually enjoyed Inktober quite a bit. And I've had a lot of folks discover this channel for the first time, and they seem to be enjoying the daily content. So if you folks out there think I should keep going with the daily content, let me know. And, I'll let that definitely influence my final decision on that. Also, being completely aware of the fact that coming up with new video content every single day forever could be a little more challenging than I am thinking right now in the glow of Inktober coming to an end here shortly. When you get towards the end of a project that you've been enjoying, sometimes you end up so caught up in the afterglow of it that you're not thinking about the difficulties that have come along with it. Yeah, if you think that daily content is something that you would be interested in tagging along with, then that's definitely something I would be interested in keeping going. So let me know in the comments. Love to hear from you folks anyway. So if you have any questions or comments about anything, please just leave them in the comments and we can have a little conversation. I bet you there's a lot of dinosaur skeletons in the Inktober sphere today. I bet you there's a ton. About 15 minutes in now. And might have a little time to put in a tiny bit of color. Find some shading. Cast some shadow. Pencil action going. Yeah, I tend to put a lot of yellow and red in my eyeballs. It's just something I enjoy doing. Call it good right there. Just a little minimal amount of color. Get that signed up there. Oh yeah, day 24 now. Whew, 24 days. Extinct. Well, there we are, 24 days in. We'd be 3 weeks in if we had 8-day weeks, but as we have 7-day weeks, we're 3.5 weeks in. I promise that makes sense to me. And I appreciate everybody there for tuning in to the channel for today's Inktober prompt. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure to scare up that like button. And of course, let us haunt you forever by subscribing to the channel. We do have a dedicated playlist for Inktober entries if you want to see the previous 23 days. They're right there. The best is yet to come.